Going live. Okay, it's actually gone live, which is a bit annoying. Hang on. Alright. Sorry guys, this video is going to be a bit weird, but I was just testing the live capability to make sure I could go live. Hello. Right, let's put this thing in. I wanted to test the live capability before I put it on the actual tripod, because otherwise I would have got annoyed again. Anyway, Time Lord Reaper deck profile. It's exactly what you think it is, and don't laugh at my targets. I'm waiting until the new ban list to get proper targets, but you can replace the targets with anything you want. I'll specify what's a target and what's not though. So first things first, you want your free Ghost Reapers, 100%, definitely. It's a Reaper deck. You want to see this, definitely. Next, we're going into the Time Lord stuff. Weird, right? Well, you're going to be running free Time Maiden. Reason being is with Time Maiden, it allows you to special summon any of your special summons itself, then allows you to search any Time Lord by tributing it, then you can normal summon your Time Lord. So basically it means you get a free Time Lord of any one that you want. So, and it doesn't even affect your hand size, which is really good. Because that is the one thing Time Lords do struggle with a bit. If you draw into something that's not a Time Lord, your hand size slowly gets shorter and shorter and never replenishes itself. Next we've got Michion, the Time Lord, the one that halves the life points of your opponent once it's attacked. So, I don't think I need to explain why that one's at 3. We then have Sandion, the Time Lord that can normal summon itself without tributing if you control no monsters or your opponent controls monsters. I think it's the second one, which means if you have a Time Lord that hasn't shuffled itself back, I don't know how you would have that if your opponent effect baited it or something stupid, which they can't because obviously it's standard phase. You get my drift. If they somehow negate its shuffling effect, you still go into Sandion, which is good. And it inflicts 2,000 damage at the end of the battle phase, after it's attacked. So really good for burn damage. Next you have Lazion, which basically shuffles a card and deals 1,000 damage. So it shuffles a card when it attacks, and then when your opponent draws once per turn, your opponent takes 1,000 damage. That's really good. So you're guaranteed a really good effect out of that. So I run 3 as well. Next, free Gabrion. Reason being, it basically shuffles any troublesome cards that are on the field back into the deck, and your opponent draws for each one shuffled back into the main deck. So if your opponent's using an extra deck heavy deck and you drop Gabrion, they lose all their resources and they don't even get to replenish. So it's really good for that. Next, you're going to be running free Zaphion. Reason Zaphion is so you can shuffle your opponent's back row. Why back row specifically deserves free, I will explain later. Next, we have 2 Camion. Reason we're running 2 Camion is it shuffles the opponent's monster after battle. Actually, I think it's just the opponent's card after battle, and then your opponent takes 500 for the card shuffled back. Zaphion has to also battle for its effect, by the way. Next, we have Raphion. Deals your opponent. Basically, it's like a reflect bounder. Your opponent takes the monster's original attack points. Your opponent takes the damage you would have taken as direct damage. But the thing with Time Lords is you don't take any battle damage anyway. So basically, it's just whatever your opponent's attack points is at the time. They just take it as life points. Really good. Next, you have Sadion. I'm only running it at 2 because it's just a good Time Lord to draw into and protect your own life points with. Plus, if your opponent does somehow get past you with, say, something that can attack you directly, that's good to keep yourself back at 4,000, so not too bad. Then we only have Metallion as our last Time Lord. Most people find that a bit offensive, but 1 Metallion is as good as it's going to get. You only really want the 1 Metallion, so, whatever at that point. Now we're going into the spells. We're going to have 3 Pot of Duality. Gold rare as well. Really happy with those. Because you're never special summoning except Time Maiden. So if you've got Time Maiden in hand, don't activate Pot of Duality. If you don't activate Pot of Duality, and then add Time Maiden off Pot of Duality if it's there, if you want to, but just know you can't special summon it that turn. So it's not that bad of a change. Next is Mound of the Bound Creator at 2, because it's a really good field spell. Because they're all level 10, so it negates targeting on them, and also if they do manage to destroy a monster, which the only one that can is Sandion, because Sandion's the only one with an actual attack points, because that's 4k, your opponent takes 1,000 damage, not bad. Next, we have a tech card I've added recently, Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. You get a special summon a fairy. All of the Time Lords are fairies. I don't need to tell you why that's good. Next we have 3 Torrential Tributes. They can't be destroyed by card effects. So again, I don't think I need to tell you why that's good. 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's the reason you're running Zaphion at 3. Because you activate Anti-Spell and then you bring out Zaphion the next turn when your opponent has all of their spells face down that they want to use next turn, and they just yeet them back into the deck. Really stupid combo that for some reason works. Next we have Imperial Order at 1, because again, the only spells you're running is Pot of Duality, Mound of the Bound Creator, and your Beholder. And to be fair, it's not that bad to not be able to use those because the Time Lords on their own speak for themselves, so it's not too bad. Next we're going into the extra deck, or the targets as I call them. So this is for my mate's restrict deck. I would use Millennium Eyes because that's a much better target, but I don't have a Millennium Eyes, so I'm using Thousand Eyes for that. Got a zombie, Red Eyes Necro Zombie Dragon because I've got a mate who plays zombies, so it's good to get rid of that. That's one of the only extra deck ones that I personally would get rid of. Bear in mind that I've got like cards that I take from my other decks and use as extra deck cards, so it's not too bad to have like a generic extra deck at the moment. Got some Blue Eye stuff. We got Spirit and Azure Eyes. Reason being is my mate, as you know, Mr. Blue Star is a Blue Eyes player, so really good to banish these two. I have a Crystal Wing. Again, Blue Eyes, but a lot of other decks go into Crystal Wing. Got a Nova, so if anyone does build Cyber Dragons near me, I can stop them from going into Infinity, or I can just stop them from going into Infinity in a deck like, say, Dynamax that can go into them quite easily anyway. Next, we have the number 38 Hope Harbinger. Again, a really good card, so it's good to stop your opponents from going into it. This is the one card that isn't a target. You're actually going into it, which is your Dreadnought Cannon Gustav Max, because it's 2 level 10s. Beholder allows you to go into 2. Sandaeon, if one of them didn't shuffle, allows you to go into 2, which then allows you to go into that, and that's a massive 2k damage. It's not too bad, actually. Then I've got the Sky Striker stuff. I've got Kagari, Hayate, and Kaina, but when I can, I'm going to replace Kaina with Shizuki. Reason I'm running Hayate and Kagari for definite though is Kagari is the reoccurrer, obviously, and then Hayate attacks directly, which kills Time Lords, because obviously you need them to attack into your Time Lord. Next we've got a Linkaribo, because that's quite a powerful card, again in my mate's Thousand Eyes Restrict and like Relinquish deck, so do that. Balinx stops your opponent's Salamangreat's plays almost immediately. I mean, you could still go after that, but it shuts down quite a lot of their combos, and most Salamangreat players I've met tend to stick to the one combo. They can't really adapt around it, at least from the videos I've seen. So I ain't played anyone who plays Salamangreat IRL that I know of. So Vampire Sucker, again, zombie players just yeet it out of there. And then for the final one, this one was a mistake because I didn't realise his particular build after I ordered it. But the Evil Eye Link. I thought he wanted to go into that, but no, he used it as Pot Extravagance target. So that was a yikes from me. So I'm probably going to replace that with something I would actually use, like, I don't know, Shut Doji. Even then, I probably wouldn't want to banish that because it's not that good. But yeah, as I said, the targets can be whatever you want. I personally would run Gustav Max, definitely, because it's one Xyz that you might actually go into. Other than that, your extra deck is basically all targets, and the main deck is just like 80% monster, couple of spells and a couple of traps. It's not too bad for consistency, if you do ask me. Yeah, you don't always draw your Ghost Reaper, and there's no way of searching it or like milling it out other than your Pot of Dualities, I guess. But to be honest, the Time Lords are the main piece of the deck. Whenever I make a Reaper deck, so I had a Reaper Lair deck at one point. When I make a deck, it isn't because, oh, I can search the Reaper, or that's the main thing of the deck. No, it's just a little funny gimmick I put into decks that don't really need an extra deck. And that's the gimmick I've given the Time Lords, because I got the Time Lords off my mate, and I thought, know what, it'll be funny to make it a Ghost Reaper one so I can target all my opponents, because I never have more than one monster on the field usually. And even then, they all shuffle during the standby phase anyway. So yeah, a Ghost Reaper variant is really funny, and it's actually quite decent consistency-wise. I managed to keep drawing my anti-spell fragrance at one point. I was just really lucky that day. So consistency-wise, it's really good. because obviously you just want to see monsters, and like you probably 4 out of the 5 cards in your beginning hand will be monsters, and if not, it'll be like a pot of duality, so you can search out a monster. So like you've got a lot of monsters to be able to go into, which means you're constantly safe. Which then means you can, if you draw say a Ghost Reaper, it's not as terrifying because you've gone down one by your hand like advantage. But even then, you're A, banishing one of their cards, and B, like the consistency is good enough to warrant it anyway. Anyway, as I said, use any targets you want. Those were my personal picks at the moment. As I said, I'm probably going to replace the Evil Eye one, and maybe the Vampire Sucker one, and maybe Kaina. But other than that, that's my targets as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is more of a troll deck for your friends. So if you do build this, replace all the targets with your friends' targets just to piss them off. This is Mr. Ojama, aka Throw the Knife, signing off of Team Thunder Ojama. Have fun with this, kids.